Good evening to everybody, and obviously we welcome you to Bury Football Club. We've called this gathering tonight so that the new chairman of Bury Football Club can introduce himself, the new directors can answer any questions you may need answering after, and obviously that the manager can give his presentation to you as well. What we're going to do is we're going to start off the evening, go through the top table who is speaking, and then after that we'll open the floor for questions on what you've seen and heard from the people up here. I'm sure you're all aware that probably the last 4 or 5 months have been a very stressful time for Bury Football Club. Probably one of the hardest, I would say. Even the administration time that we went into, where we all miraculously saved the club, I think this one probably brought home to me and to the directors in charge at the time how close we were to shutting down. And that's not being dramatic, that's being truthful. We was probably 7 days from closing the doors of Bury Football Club. So what I thought I'd do, so we don't put any onus on the new chairman and his directors, is I would try and explain how we got to our new directors. I'd like to introduce them to you. On my left, this is the chairman, Mr. Stuart Day. This is our new director of operations, Mr. Ian Kendall, and this is our new chief executive, Glenn Thomas. Personally, I'd like you all to give them a round of applause. Managers here, I can guarantee everybody that over the last month or so, without him as well, we probably wouldn't have got to this stage. He, more than probably anybody, convinced these directors that Bury Football Club had a future. So I'd like you to welcome Kevin. Right, that's the emotional bit now. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. First of all, I'd like to say you won't hear anybody up here criticising the previous board. The reasons for that are the previous board were tired. They didn't do anything that they didn't think was for the benefit of Bury Football Club. They put in personal money, they wrote off personal money. People who were willing to give guarantees at this football club that we could survive, putting their own personal finances at risk so that this football club can continue. I'm sure if they went back 12 months, and that's all it's been, 12 months, I'm sure they would probably have done things a bit different. But I would like also to point out to you that even though the troubles probably started 12 months ago, maybe last July or whatever, circumstances went so against them. And many of you have been here a lot longer than I have at Bury Football Club will know that a £200,000 debt at this football club is suicidal. Absolutely suicidal. And that is basically how it started. And I would just like to say that the directors at the time did everything they could to try and stop the club from bleeding. But as it went on, and these aren't excuses, it's fact, as it went on, the cash flows that they tried to work to went to pot. I'm sure over the last 12 months you've heard the story about Sheffield United. Last year we take £80,000 through a gate. Why shouldn't you think you wouldn't take £80,000 this year? You're playing them over Christmas. First week in January, great time to play them. What happens? The FA Cup gets called off, you end up playing them on a midweek game and you take 15,000. And them are the kind of things that went on. Players got injured. Our top players, our top earners got injured. And we were paying players that we couldn't really afford to pay. So I'm not making excuses, that was the circumstances of the event that led into the crisis that really started taking effect probably around about Christmas time. And I've been called in, we tried to rescue it. I can't remember now when the shareholders meeting was. I promised everybody I would go out the day after. I think I said at the time we needed to raise somewhere in the region of £800,000 to £1 million to make the club continue into this season, to go on forward into 2013-14. I went out, I did that. We came together with a scheme whereby I was finding top 10 businessmen to put £100,000 apiece in to the club. They would be paid 6% interest. The target was to get 10. We needed £800,000 as we thought at the time to take the club forward, and the £200,000 will be set aside to cover the interest over the next 2 or 3 years. I got 7. We got £700,000 guaranteed, promised. And then a couple of the consortium, if you like, or the investors, and they were all local lads, I'm sure you can imagine who they were, they decided they had to do a proper cost plan on this football club, not just up to July but going forward. And the scurrying fact of the matter came, I think it was about February time. We was told that the 700,000 they already had would probably run out by the end of June, which meant to those lads who put in, who like to say, you can imagine who they are, I'm not going to name the names, that meant in June, because the deal was they put the 700 in, or 800 or £1 million, we put a charge on the ground so that they were guaranteed their £1 million back, or the whatever they put in. And the frightening fact was that we could have been asking for that back in June. Now I just want you all to imagine these people who, most of them didn't have connection with Bury Football Club in a way that they come every week, they come every day, they just love the town, having a football club. And having them to come up to you people and say, we have to shut the ground down to get our money back. That would have been a frightening thing for them people to have to go through. So we cancelled it. We had to cancel it because it wasn't fair on them. We promised them that 800 would take them through to the end of next season. The fact was, it probably got us into July. So we cancelled it. The most important thing to me personally was that we paid the wages. That's all that mattered to me. The kids working down here, week in, week out, expecting the money. The players expect the money. They have families like everybody else. They might earn a bit more than anybody else, but still have families and mortgages like us all. So that was my biggest goal. I'd already took a loan out in December to go through to January 14 from the PFA, just to get us through 1 month. It was running late over the limit, so I managed to get a large sum of money to cover the wages. That was for just January. When it came to February and March, one of the directors stuck the wages, or a large percentage of it, and it was becoming a monthly thing. The month after, I managed to get the wages done again, just by robbing Peter and paying Paul. That's all we were doing. We were robbing one to pay the other. We were robbing his money to pay our money. And it was just a vicious circle, I promise you. So, when we did hit the brick wall, which probably came, I can't remember the date, so don't cut my throat for this, probably April, early April, wherever, we realised that we could go no further. So I went to the PFA again, and they loaned me the money again. I think it was probably March, because we did March, April, May, to pay back in the 3 months, because we get disbursements from the league, and we took the 3 months in advance, again robbing Peter to pay Paul. When we got to this stage, we turned around and said, look, we've got to do something about this. We've got to find someone who will buy this football club or take over this football club. We had various meetings, we met a lot of people, I promise you again. We met several groups of people, but the only concrete offer we had before I met these people was a builder. And again, I ask you to bear in mind our only asset is our ground. It's the only asset this club has. It's a major asset, but that's all we had to barter with. And all we had at that time was, I think, 2 builders who offered to buy the ground from us. They offered us, I think, maybe 1.5 million. Your hands are tied. That's the situation you're in. That's what you're facing. I don't want to swear, but it was shit a bus at the time. The condition on that was quite simple. They would loan us the money for 2 years. In that 2 years, we had to get off Big Lane. We had to go and find someone else to play. Go and play at Ratcliffe Borough, go and play local park, just go and play somewhere else. That was the deal. Well, there's no way whatsoever any director was going to accept that deal. We looked at administration, but we didn't go enough to go in administration. We were going in administration for what? You know, when you see clubs going into administration for 35 million and 20 million like Coventry have, people like that, Port Vale and all these people have all gone into administration. We owed about 400 grand. It weren't enough to go into administration. So we said, right, what do we do? And as much as we tried, we couldn't find anybody. We'd robbed Peter, which was the HMRC. We hadn't paid our inland revenue, we hadn't paid our VAT, to pay wages and to pay other people, to pay the electricity bill, wherever. So we get a letter, don't we, from HMRC that they're putting a winding up order on us. And we got through that one. We got through that one with a bit of, again, the PFA came in and gave us another loan to pay the players' wages for 3 months. They put a charge on the ground. It was a considerable amount of money. They put a charge on the ground, which we had. Anybody lending you money, whether it's your own home or whatever, will put a charge on the asset. So that weren't really a problem. What was the problem was that we managed to pay the first instalment, first month's HMRC, and then somebody up there blessed us. 2 lads came into the club one Friday afternoon, said they wanted to talk to us. They spoke to me and Jim Holmes, I was Glenn and Stuart. They spent probably only 3 or 4 days going through things in the club, going through the finances, going through whatever. They worked over the weekend. I was in contact with Stuart twice a day, going through things. Jim was saying, going through things. And about the following Wednesday, they came back and said, right, we're interested, we want to take over in June. And I turned around to him and I said, Stuart, we're in a worse mess than that. We can't wait till June. We have 7 days, otherwise this club shuts down. And I mean literally shut down. With loot to liquidation, everything. The directors were panicking that the shareholders had sued them because they'd run the club badly, etc, etc. We had accountants in, we had everybody in, and all it was doing was costing us 300 quid an hour. That's all it was doing, it wasn't giving us the answers. So I went back to Stuart. I actually soft-soaked him. I took him to Old Trafford. I took him to Old Trafford and said to him, look, can you do this before the end of June? Can you do it for me? So they asked me a question and said, what will it cost us to do that? I got it as low as I possibly could in my head that day, and we'd had a few wines and one thing or another. And they said, right, we'll speak to you tomorrow. I came in the day after, and the first thing they did was ring the HMRC up. And they got us a two-week break. I think they got us from the wine report. The second thing they did, obviously, they had to check out whether me on a Sunday afternoon after a few beers and a few wines were telling them the truth. Well, I weren't telling them the truth, obviously. It was double what I told them. And basically, they looked at it, went through it. He came back to me and said, Nev, we're going to do this. We're not letting this club shut down. We'll do it. We'll take care of me. And that was all taking care of wages, HMRC, VAT, finished. So then we had to go through the next stage, which was getting all the directors to approve it, which wasn't that big a job. We had the complication that in 2004, your shares, the trustees' shares of this football club that we worked so hard to get, they'd formed a new constitution. What they'd said at the time was that if you were a director of the club, you became a trustee. If you resigned as a director, you resigned as a trustee. So the shares were always with the club, the directors, and obviously the beneficiary of them shares, which is Bury Football Club. Well, they hadn't done the job. People had resigned as directors and hadn't resigned as trustees. So then we had to rely on 3 people who weren't directors, who resigned as directors. And to be honest, they came in, realised the situation, and they put it right. They resigned and we got all the paperwork right. We then had to decide with Stuart how we could get round the problem that he needed to take over. This was Friday. He had to take over the club by Wednesday. So I said to him, and it was totally my suggestion because Stuart and William made it clear they wanted to take over the total not maybe the total shareholding, but they wanted the major shareholding of Bury Football Club. So I said, we're never going to do that by next Wednesday. So he said, well, we put a proposal down for me. So what I did, I took the investors' proposal that he put the money in. The existing directors resigned as trustees and as directors. We appoint the 3 lads here as directors, and they become the trustees of the shares. Stuart agreed to it because he knew the situation was grave. He agreed to it 100%, and the position is probably no different than if we'd have put the investors in now. They are trustees. The shares are still, the beneficiary of those shares is still Bury Football Club. So anything they do with them has to be to the benefit of Bury Football Club. And by Wednesday, he put every single penny in that he'd agreed to put in, plus more beside. And he took over on that particular Wednesday. And if I've seen a few, I never go on Bury FC website, I promise you. But I went on it yesterday, I knew I was coming here. And I saw some ridiculous comments about our ground and what was going on. All I can say to you people that write them sort of comments is, you just don't know what you're talking about. You just don't understand the situation of this football club. He's put a charge on ground, and to be honest, I'm not sure if he has. But if he has put a charge on ground, why shouldn't he? He's putting a lot of money to Bury Football Club. If we go and buy a house tomorrow and we take the mortgage, they'll put a charge on your house. If you don't pay it, they'll come for your house. Simple as that. And that's the situation we've been in for ages. The Waitses have had a charge on our ground for the last 30 years. So, all I'm asking for people is understand the situation before you write obnoxious things that don't mean anything. Because I'm telling you now, this is my final say, without these, you would not be sat here today. Thanks for listening to me. I hope you understand. If you want to ask me questions after, I'll willingly answer them. Thank you. Now,